All right, so in today's video, we're going to be seeing what random items I can use from the Dollar Tree to make a custom art piece. And that item is going to be this foam heart that I found while at the store not too long ago. And what I'm going to put on this was voted by you. I asked on my socials, Instagram, TikTok, and even here on YouTube, what character did you want to see me paint on this? And surprisingly, you guys chose Gambit and Rogue, which is not a problem. These are two of my favorite characters that I've loved ever since the original 90s X-Men cartoon popped up on Fox Kids. So I got a few ideas that I want to do with this. I don't know how it's going to turn out because it's pretty ambitious. I really should get better about like sketching this out and planning it more, but I kind of like to just jump into it and just see what happens. I feel like that's the best way to do it. Otherwise, you will just keep thinking and thinking and thinking. You never will start. Kind of like what I'm doing right now, just babbling on. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is find some comic book pages because I want to wrap this with comic panels, much like I did for the Ghost Rider back. You know, let me just go get it. Like I did for this guy right here. Comic book panels in the back, big action character right on top. That's what I'm thinking for this, but instead of Ghost Rider, obviously, it would be Gambit and Rogue. So I got a lot of old comic books from the discount bin. I'm going to cycle through that, and once I find the pages that I need, I'm going to get started. And the last part, which is probably the most ambitious part of this, I want to put it on some kind of stand, like Gambit's hand is holding that. I think that would be kind of cool. Whether I can do that or not, I don't know. I did pick up this that I've been having for about 2 years, so maybe we can use this to mold the hand and yeah. All right, let's just see what happens. So for a minute there, I was getting kind of nervous because I was like, do I even have anything Gambit and Rogue related? And then this. Didn't even know when I picked this up, but you know, sometimes the universe just knows what you need before you need it. It does have some really cool things here that I'm going to be able to use. So I don't know when I got it, but I'm super excited that I found it. So I'm going to be pulling the panels from this, and before you guys freak out, this is for Free Comic Book Day. This book is pretty worthless, so we're good to go. I hate when they have something that you can use on both sides. I guess we're gonna have to pick the best side, I guess. So the first thing I'm gonna wanna do is coat this with some Mod Podge to protect it. I don't even know why I brought all these. I'm probably not even gonna use them, but just in case the comic books can't cover it all, at least there'll be some color in the back instead of just this boring white styrofoam. So that's what we're gonna do first. Will we ever learn to clean our brushes? Looks like I got some crud in there from one of my last projects that's mixing in there, but it doesn't really matter because this is all going to get covered up anyway. It is what it is. So this right here is really nice. I definitely want to try to use that. Absolutely love them right here. For sure going to use that. Some cool little voodoo dolls. And the last thing I'm doing right now is just getting some of these word bubbles because they have some pretty cool dialogue between the two of them. Now that I have everything cut out, I'm starting to look at how I want to do the layout. I want the painting to be on top, and then maybe some of the pages kind of like they're ripped and standing up on ends, so like you'll be able to see it from underneath all around, so the paint will be there. And then these will be some of the panels that'll be kind of like wrapped around everything. That's what I'm thinking. We'll see what this looks like when it's done. Of course, nothing ever worked out the way it was supposed to. I was gonna print the image out so I can better line it up to see exactly how I was gonna size it on here, but the printer's not working. So I'm gonna use this app that I've been hearing about. It's called Trace Table. And from there, I should be able to project the image on here. And that way I'll know exactly how it's gonna look on this foam heart. All right, let's see. Well, that's pretty cool. And also, out of all the times they decided to cut the grass, I don't know if you guys can hear that motor, but that's the madness that's going on outside. But back to this. This is actually pretty cool. I can actually see exactly how I want to put this heart on there. All right, so before I put the image on here and he's still out there doing what he's doing, let me spray paint this. Maybe he'll be done by then. All right, so I got it painted. It didn't have to be perfect. I just needed a background color. I kind of went with that fuchsia color that Gambit's cards normally look like when it's charging with all that kinetic energy. I guess I needed a few more layers of Mod Podge because I can see where the spray paint started to eat into the foam, but it protected it enough. So now, hopefully, if they're done out there, we can put the image on here. So of course it would eat into the side that I was gonna paint on. I got this crater in there. I was gonna use this side, but it had this, so I'm actually going to try to use some of this acrylic gesso, not only to map out the area where I'm going to actually paint, but hopefully it'll fill in some of these gaps. I probably should have used this in the beginning to seal this up, but this stuff is expensive, so I don't want to just be throwing this around just because. Honestly, I think that's going to do the trick. And actually, change of plans. I think I'm going to go with the Jim Lee cover art. Yeah, we're going to do that instead. All right, this is feeling a little drier to the touch, so I think we're ready to start drawing and painting. All right, so we got them on there. Definitely gonna have to clean up Rogue's face a little bit in post-production because she's looking a little rough. Looking like Miss Marvel knocked her around a little bit. But now we can get to the part that I've been really wanting to do, which is the painting. Kind of looks good just like this. Almost don't want to put the comic books on it, but truthfully, I'm only saying that because I'm ready to wrap this up. I've been on this for a minute, but we still got a little bit more to do. So in the background, we need to fill in this white, maybe do like a yellow and red gradient. And to fill it in, I think I'm gonna try doing that with Poscas. Let's do the yellow and the red.
How about the winner get a kiss from the loser?
Don't you ever get tired of listening to yourself?
Not when I'm talking about you, Cher.
Okay, so we got the paint job done. It turned out very, very well. A lot better than we started out with, right? And the only thing I want to do now is figure out, because I want them to look like they're bursting out of the comics. Like they're busting out of the page, something like that. I know that looks crazy. But I got a plan. I think this is going to work. I'm going to finish this up. That's what we got going on. Comic book pages like they're busting out of heart. I still don't know if I want to now cover the back of it with comic book pages. I think this looks cool. I think maybe just blending in the sides, like painting them so they match the heart, might be enough, but I don't know. First, I'm gonna get something to eat. As you guys can see, I'm burning daylight here. I'm gonna get something to eat, then I'm gonna come back so we can finish this up.
Previously on X-Men.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys, daylight was burned. A lot of daylight was burned. We're on day 2 of this, and I was not expecting this to be a 2-day thing. But my biggest problem that I'm facing right now is if I want to put any of the comic book cutouts on the back of this. This is the layout that I have right now. Let me show you. All right, so obviously we would take that off, but I think that's decent, right? That looks kind of cool. Or we just leave it, you know, just leave it as it is. I don't know. The one thing I am gonna do is we're gonna blend these sides in a little bit more. I'm gonna use some hot glue and then we're gonna spray paint this to make that all one color. But yeah, even after sleeping on it, I still don't know what I wanna do. You know what? We're gonna use my handy dandy coin flip app. It's helped me make a lot of decisions that I shouldn't be basing off of a digital app. But when in Rome, let's just see what happens. Best out of 3. Heads, I put the comic pages on the back. Tails, I do not. First flip. Heads. That's tails. Comic book pages go on the back. All right, that's good. That means all that cutting I did earlier in this video won't be for nothing. So now that I know what the plan is, let's finish it out. Also, I still want to make that base of Gambit's hand holding it. So we got a lot to do. All right, so for the next part of this video, we're going to be using this plaster of Paris, this quick setting mix. It says take about 20 to 30 minutes for it to set up. We're gonna need this glove that I stole from Dexter's mom, and we're gonna need some wire. And what are we gonna be doing with all this? We're gonna try to form my hand. We're gonna use this glove as the mold, and we're gonna pour this plaster in this glove. Hopefully it keeps its shape, and then we're gonna have the base. This might be the part of the video that I actually edit out because I have no idea how this is gonna turn out, but let's give it a shot. If only you guys could see me struggling with this wire, but I think I just about got it. Got the basic shape of it laid out. Now I just need to reinforce it a little bit. All right, I got the length that I want. Just gotta play around with it, but we got our 4 fingers and a thumb. We're gonna try to stuff this into this hand. And since we have the wire, maybe we can form it and it'll hold its shape. I don't know if this is even gonna work, but we'll give it a shot. Hang on, we might be onto something here. They're in. The only one that's giving me a problem is the thumb. Well, boys and ghouls, I think we got it. Success. I mean, I knew it was gonna work. I mean, why wouldn't it work? I mean, all right, so this is kind of the hand placement that I'm looking for. And we kind of got it, right? Kind of, sort of. It's just a matter of will the concrete hold its shape in here. That's the only thing. It's the right idea, but I just don't think this is gonna work. So I'm gonna try something else. We're just gonna use tape. I know it's crazy, but just follow along with me here. I probably should have did this on my left hand because you got to do this sticky side out. Okay, so now that we have it covered, we're going to go back around it sticky side down and try to keep the shape of my hand. Now, I know some of you are probably like, honestly, I don't see the difference than what you're doing with this than just using the glove. At this point, neither do I. But I do think this is going to work better. Trust me. So now that we have it, we're going to cut my hand out of this and hopefully my idea will work. Otherwise I just wasted more time. The reason I feel like this is gonna work a lot better, not only is this a more tailored hand, I mean it looks, you know, a lot better than glove. I'm going to be able to shape it a lot better too. Make sure the orientation of the finger and thumb is right. All right, so I just went through and just reinforced everything with tape. I'm trying to make sure there's no holes that the plaster is going to leak through. But you can't tell me that this doesn't look 1,000 times better than this, what we started out with. Yeah, so this was the vision, but this was the execution. So now all I have to do is shape it and pour the plaster in there. All right, so I attached that wire frame to the back of it. And from there, it's allowing me to be able to shape this hand a little bit better to get the poses that I want. All right, I think we got it. That'll do it. That'll do it. This video is a prime example of why you should plan your stuff out, but sometimes you just gotta roll with the punches because things don't always work out the way you thought they were. The next thing we do is mix this. We're gonna pour it in here. Hopefully I plugged up everything where the holes are, and we'll get a good cast out of this. So I'm gonna wanna hang this upside down. I'm gonna put that in here, and we should on there. Plaster, it says we need 2 parts plaster and 1 part water. So we'll get to mixing this up here. Been wanting to do some plaster. Oh, thought that was like a seal on top of it. Thank God I didn't just rip it off. That would have went everywhere. I've been wanting to do some plaster projects for a while. And hopefully this one turns out nice. Actually, let's switch these bowls out. Using the backside, it's really pressing out all those lumps and getting this mixture right. All right, moment of truth. Let's pour it. All right, so they definitely was not lying. It sets up real quick. It's already thick now. All I'm doing is just trying to make sure that it's getting to the edges of the thumbs and the fingers before it hardens. So if by chance anybody ever asks you, hey, does that plaster really set up that quick? Yeah, hella quick. It was literally drying before my eyes. I'm getting some of these chunks out. So I gotta mix another batch. I didn't have enough to fill the entire glove, and I'm not sure that every finger got coated. So hopefully it looks halfway decent. Now I just see why people just stick to painting, because crafting, it's not relaxing. It's a lot going on. To say that was a lot would be an understatement. Hopefully that hand looks okay because it dried so quickly. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. Anyway, let's move on to this. All I need to do on this, which is pretty easy, just blend in the edges where the comic books meet the styrofoam, hit it with some spray paint, then we're gonna attach those comic book panels on the back, and for this, we'll be done. And as far as the hand goes, I have no idea. Okay, so putting the comic book panels on the back definitely was the right move. That looks really nice. Very nice. So that was the easy part. Now for the hard part. This is one of those moments where you like, I should have stopped when I was ahead, but I think we got something good here. Although, this little piggy, a few of these little piggies seem to be broken, so we're gonna have to figure out a way to attach it, but let's go ahead and take the tape off and see what we got. I mean, it looks good. I just don't know how good. It's not held together. There's a big chunk of it. Oh my God, this was a disaster. This thing is crumbling like crumble cookies. I don't know if there's a way to save it. There's the wrist. And then we got the back of the hand, and just a mess after a mess. Okay, so I decided not to finish unwrapping it because if I do, it's gonna fall apart. So let's go with plan D. So as they say, when in doubt, duct tape it out. I was really looking forward to having this be a plaster sculpture where I can sand down and kind of carve out the knuckles or whatnot, but it just wasn't meant to be. Maybe on the next round, but I'm hoping when I get done with this version of it, it actually looks good and we can finally wrap this up. This is all the more reason why I think I'm probably gonna need to get a 3D printer. Because imagine how fast this would have been if I would have just printed it out. Or some epoxy sculpt. I feel like anything but the plaster would have worked for this. You know, sometimes maybe there's just a lesson in everything. All the duct tape that I used did leave me with this roll. So like, you know what? That would actually make a good sleeve. Because you know, Gambit wears that trench coat. Not only that, it stabilized this thing even more. So I guess things happen for a reason. What does Bob Ross say? No mistakes, just happy accidents. Something like that. What a wild ride this video has been. It's definitely been a labor of love, let me tell you. And a little bit of hate. Never underestimate the time of a project. Oh my God. You know the funny thing is, it's given the bulkiness of the glove that we started with, what, 3 years ago? Let's get this painted. I think we are finally done, guys. Got the cell shading going on. A little crude, right? I kind of like it. It actually makes me want to do another cell shading project here. Now, does this actually fit in here? Moment of truth. So after many trials and tribulations, we finally got this done. We got the Rogue and Gambit styrofoam heart that I got from Dollar Tree. And this, woo, Gambit's hand that brings it all together. I have to say, this one was a doozy. It's projects like these I think you need to go through sometime because you learn a lot. I'm really loving how Gambit's hand looks like it's literally coming out of the comic book or the cartoon. I love this cell shading. So that might be a future project. Then we have Gambit and Rogue busting out of the heart, and we're using the comic book pages to represent that explosion. Even though the original plan was to cover the entire thing with comic books, I do like the fact that I kept it this color because it looks exactly how Gambit's card does. So it's almost like he's charging the heart and his love for Rogue is just busting out at the seams. I swear this project was as complicated as Gambit and Rogue's relationship. And just like Gambit and Rogue, they had a happy ending. They ended up getting married in the comic books, in case you guys didn't know. I'm married to the idea that this thing is finally over. I did enjoy making it, even though it really put me through it. I do have more projects like this planned where I take some unusual objects from Dollar Tree, Goodwill, Five Below, Ross, and even junk from Craigslist and try to turn it into some kind of art piece. So if you guys are interested in that, please be sure to follow along with this journey because as you can see, it can be a little crazy, but it turns out pretty well. I'm gonna go ahead and start mapping out what that next video is gonna be, but until then, I really appreciate you guys watching and I'll see you on the next video.
What's wrong, Chef?
You know what happens when I touch somebody. You want to end up in the hospital?
Maybe it's worth it, no?